Hi, my name is Art Browning, and I'm running on the Green Party ticket for the State House of Representatives, District 130. That's up in Northwest Harris County, and I'll be the progressive option on the ballot. What do I mean by that? I'd like to talk about some positive things, but there are honestly several negative things that happened in the last legislative session. One of those was the severe cuts to educational funding. We need to take some money away from other things and put it into education. I'll talk more about that in a moment. When teachers are required to have larger classrooms, they do a much less effective job of teaching. And another aspect of teaching is that we require them to teach to the test. That assumes that children are widgets, that they're all the same kind of learners. We know that different children learn better by different methods, so not only do we need to restore the funding to education, we need to give the teachers the latitude to change their methods to suit the child. Our children are our greatest treasure, and they are in fact our future. Texas is near the bottom in state funding of the 50 states. We should be at the top. We talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk. Let's put our money where it matters. Another type of education that we can talk about involves women's rights. And young women are women just the same as other women. We need to talk not only to the women, but the men about how babies are made and be honest about it. This will not only reduce abortion possibly, which is a woman's right. We need to get the legislature out of the woman's womb. We need to repeal the sonogram law. But back to sex education, if we do that, we will be countering the extreme rise in teen pregnancy rate in Texas, which is near the bottom or near the top, if you wish, of that list, and sexually transmitted diseases are also on the rise. We need to be honest with our young adults about how to prevent that and what the consequences are of being careless and not protected. Another thing that the state legislature did wrong is narrowing the possibility of making it harder for people to vote. We have a hard enough time getting people to the polls. We need to not be turning them away. I'm talking about the voter ID laws, requiring someone to have a photo ID. There are many people, especially older people, who don't have driver's licenses. There are poorer people who ride buses. They don't need a driver's license. A signature should be good enough. And in fact, the idea that there has been voter fraud is a fraud in itself. It has not been happening to any significant extent. Well, that's three major items I've talked about. That's public education, restoring the funding, getting the government out of women's bodies, getting their hands off women's bodies, voter ID. I could go on and on. I'd like to stop at three. There are more than that issues that I'd like to talk with you about and hear you feedback, but there's a fourth issue I cannot leave off, and that is that we need to repeal the death penalty in the state of Texas. We know innocent people have been executed in our name. Thank you. That's Art Browning, running for District 130 for the Texas State House of Representatives.